Good morning. Here we are, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to be looking at the strengths for August the 11th. Now, the year's whipping away. What we're going to do is we're going to try and find out which is the best pair to theoretically trade today, and then couple that to an indices. And then we're going to look at the economic calendar, see if there's any times you need to be aware of. Now, we do this every morning for every squad member, and they get it straight away. It'll be up in a few minutes' time when I've finished. And then publicly it goes out about 9:30, 10:15. So if you're part of the squad, you get a heads up way before the markets start. So let's jump into this straight away. So what we can see is the biggest mover and shaker is on the other side of the pond, which is on the Aussie side. The New Zealand dollar and the Aussie have been the shakers last night. Now, I don't trade either of them, so it's not something I would look at. Now, what I do trade is the pound, the euro, and the USD as my base currencies, and I look for a mix between them. So if I look at the strongest versus weakest up here, what we can see is I've really only got the pound, but it's not paired against anything. So in that case, I'd have to look to see what I'm going to pair it against. Now, of the majors, there's only really the euro pound that is moving at this moment in time. The market seems to be quite tightly packed. Now, what that means is there's going to be some big breakouts. So you've got to be a bit careful, because if you're seeing the market coming back on itself and you take it, you may well be caught on the wrong side of the trade. So we'll go down my list. So I'll start with euro dollar, which is here. Where's the euro on the scale? Well, the euro's down here. So, all right, it's losing ground. It's a bit weak. The dollar is slightly stronger. There is separation between them. Separations where one's losing ground, the other's gaining ground, and they sort of part. Now, because the US is in the middle ground, it could go either way. Okay, but it is climbing the ladder. So we need to see how far it's climbing the ladder. Well, at the moment, it's gaining strength from the last data sample, and it's losing strength on the euro from the last data sample. So that's a good sign. So they're both in motion going like this. Got a good opportunity there. Okay. Now the next one is pound dollar. Now this one, for all the pound is stronger, it's going in the same direction as the dollar. Okay. But there is a little bit of chink in the armor there, because the dollar is gaining ground, the pound hasn't. It's gained no strength whatsoever. So it might have moved up the ranks one, but that's probably more to do with the other currencies than the pound, because change of strength from the last data sample is 0. So it's actually quite stagnant. So euro dollar is actually a better pair than what that is. And then we have the US JPY, both in the middle, both have gone up, and both of them gaining ground. So we back to euro dollar. So if I'm looking at the euro dollar, by definition, that is the best pair. But if I'm looking at the indices, I'd be looking at the stronger pair. And you could say, well, that's the FTSE because the pound's strongest. However, what I like to see with the indices, if the indices is to go up, I want to see its currency going down. So it's like a seesaw. The current euro goes down, the DAX will move up, and vice versa. So that's what I like to see. So again, looking at this, the pound hasn't moved or gained any strength. It's not going to give any traction for the FTSE. So therefore, we back to the DAX. Okay. So that's the player that I'm going to look. So it'll be the DAX and the euro dollar today. Is there anything that I need to be aware of? Well, the first thing I would do is I'll take out the low level stuff. Doesn't affect the markets at all. It just bumps along. And then we can have a little look to see if there's any CPIs or PMIs. There isn't any of them today. So I can take away the medium stuff, because that's not really going to affect the markets too much either. What we're left with is one high impact, which is coming in at 3 o'clock. These are all UK times, by the way, guys. For existing home sales, it doesn't really rock the market at all. It might throw it a little bit about 3 o'clock, but the markets normally light up about 3 o'clock anyway after the New York Open. So today is pretty much just a technical day. So stick to your technical indicators and you should be okay. Okay, guys, catch you all in the next one.